see trees of green, red roses too. I see them bloom for me and you, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world, wonderful world. I see skies of blue, clouds of white, the bright blessed day and the dark sacred night, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. The colors of the rainbow, so pretty in the sky, are also on the faces of people going by. I see friends shaking hands, saying, how do you do? They're really saying, I love you. I hear babies cry, I watch them grow. They'll learn much more than I'll ever know. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Oh, I think to myself, what a wonderful world, a wonderful world, a wonderful world, a wonderful world. Trees of green and clouds of white, roses red, the world is bright.
spiritual living, a haven of peace in the midst of many storms. I'm Maxine Kaye, spiritual leader of this beloved community, and I have to share with you that as I was waiting for the prelude to finish and looking out over the beloveds who braved this slight little misty rain to come and be here this morning, I was just so filled up with the experience of love. It's like I'm sitting with love, that each one of you is the beloved, and I love you, and I just felt this palpable sense of caring and goodness that you all are. And I was thinking that perhaps each of you could imagine that you are at least 10 other people who aren't here today, and let that beautiful loving energy just move out into the world and touch and bless all the people who've tuned in, all of you who have tuned in with us this morning, who aren't yet back physically with us. We're delighted that you're all here. And I'm so happy you've decided to join us for this hour of inspiration and celebration and music and meditation as we all work together to create a world that works for all. For we are all about awakening humanity to its spiritual magnificence. We provide the spiritual tools to change and enhance and lift all the conditions that we may be experiencing personally and in the world. And these beautiful spiritual tools are very effective. And we're so grateful for them, aren't we? And we have a wonderful, powerful phrase that we use here. And if you care to join me, I would invite you to do so. Living, loving, learning, spirituality that works. And now we have an opening song. Ready? Here it comes.
Two, three, and
בשנה הבאה נשב על המרפסת ונזכור ציפורים נודדות. ילדים בחופשה ישחקו תופסת בין הבית לבין השדות. עוד תראה כמה טוב יהיה בשנה הבאה. עוד תראה כמה טוב יהיה בשנה הבאה. Soon the day will arrive when we will sing together and the distance will just disappear, and the children will smile in a world that's gotten better. So let's bring in a healthy new year. Wait and see what a world there can be, and we know that there's always tomorrow. Oh tire, kama tov yeh bashana הבאה נפרוס כפות ידיים מול האור הניגר הלבן. ענפה לבנה תפרוס כאור כנפיים והשמש תזרח בתוכה. בשנה הבאה עוד תראה כמה טוב יהיה בשנה הבאה. בשנה הבאה בשנה
What joy! And of course that was selected because of Rosh Hashanah coming up, and that just so much joy and such a great sense of infinite possibility. Love it. And I do want to take a moment to thank our practitioners who did a wonderful job last Sunday. maybe lifting and taking care of you and inspiring you. It was beautiful to have a practitioner Sunday. Thank you, all of you, for doing that while Reverend Mike and I were out being crazy kids up in New England. It was beautiful, and we're very happy to be back as well. Well, I don't see any children here today, but that doesn't mean they're not listening online. And so I'd like to go ahead and talk to them for just a moment. And if there is still a child within you, let this be for you as well. All right, how did you do with Ida, the storm that we just had? Oh my goodness, Ida just came and did everything she could possibly do. She was creating mischief, wasn't she? And for some people more than others. And we're very, very grateful that things are looking pretty good around here. That certainly there was some cleanup the next day in the roads, but for the most part we did okay. And for those who really had some challenges with it, we just hold them in our hearts and lift them up and know that things are getting better by the moment. But you see, whatever kinds of storms are going on, we get through them. We get through them because we're all in this together. Okay, this is Labor Day weekend. What's interesting, because this morning Reverend Mike and I were talking about all of the workers that we appreciate. And so we just took our time and we started talking about the truck drivers and the farmers and the road repair people and the physicians and the nurses and the child care people and all of those who make our world work. And when we're celebrating Labor Day, we need to remember that in the late 19th century, that was in the late 1800s, I can't imagine, you could imagine how long ago that was, but it was a long time ago, that our workers were not treated very well. And that there were people who worked 12-hour days or more, and not by choice, not because they were so in love with their work they couldn't go home, but because they had to. They were being paid very low wages, and they were often working 7 days a week. Now, this may surprise and amaze you and offend you, but there were children also working those hours, sometimes as young as 5 years old. Now, wasn't that just wrong? Yes, it was. And so we are very grateful that the labor movement righted this wrong. And that finally, in 1894, Labor Day became a national holiday, and some of these rights were wronged. We're not done yet, but it is so much better. Because you see, as people wake up to some of the things that aren't right, then of course we want to make it better. Yes, you do too. I know that you do. So it celebrates this Labor Day weekend. It's not just about picnics. It is also about really appreciating all the people who make our world work together. Then Rosh Hashanah starts tomorrow night. What is that? It's a beautiful Jewish holiday. It's the beginning of the 10 days of awe. And it's a very, very special time for our Jewish friends, and we can learn a lot from them. And so it's about releasing the past, it's about forgiveness, it's about getting ready to start a new year. And in many ways, this is a new year, isn't it? Going back to school, and your parents and grandparents and aunts and uncles starting classes again here. So many wonderful new opportunities. And just as workers in the 19th century made progress by making these powerful changes, so can we make meaningful changes in our lives by choosing fairness, by choosing freedom and respect for all. Where does that begin, boys and girls? It begins at home. So we can all do our part to make this world a better place. Okay? So go back to your Cheerios or whatever you were enjoying, and we'll see you next week. Now it's time for our guided meditation. And I'd like to begin by quoting one of my favorite Catholic mystics, Teresa of Avila. Let nothing disturb thee. let nothing affright thee. All things are passing. Patience attains all things. Whoever has God has everything. God alone suffices. So as we take that deep, holy breath of life and feel that loving, wise, and wonderful energy moving through our bodies, harmonizing, healing, restoring. And as we release that breath with an experience of letting go of anything which does not serve us, we appreciate this sacred breath. It is the psyche. It is the life of God itself moving through our bodies, moving through our emotions, and flowing through our minds, bringing everything into perfect balance, renewing and restoring. And now as we simply breathe normally and naturally, have a beautiful awareness that the energy that flows is indeed divine, and that it heals and blesses and lifts us from the human to the spiritual awareness of who we are, always have been, and always shall be. The I am that I am. The individualized expression of divine life itself. And so from this lofty consciousness, we perceive the world around us in holiness, in a greater perspective of the infinite possibilities that exist, understanding that underlying every circumstance, there is peace, there is divine power, and there is possibility. And so we view our world personally and globally through the eyes of God. We see as the divine sees, the unimpeachable wholeness of this universe within and around us, filling all space, and very clearly, very pronounced in our own physical, emotional, and intellectual expressions of this life. And so in this calm, in the serenity, let us take a moment of deep silence and perhaps listening to that sweet voice of spirit within, which always and ever speaks the holy truth. We listen. We are listening. We are listening. Our hearts are open. And the answers come, either now or later. They always come, for Spirit always hears and always responds in love and wisdom. And so in gratitude, we keep our hearts open and our minds clear as we are willing, ready, and able to bring a greater sense of spirit into every human moment. And we're thankful. And all is well. All is well. And I'm thankful too to Frank Henninger, who plays that lovely flute while we're in our meditation. Now we are going to have an opening treatment from one of our intern practitioners, the one and only intern practitioner, Bo Smith, coming to you from Tallahassee, Florida. Bo?
Good morning. As we begin our treatment this morning, let us mindfully set aside any of the cares and concerns that we brought into the room with us. And as we begin this moment of truth together, let's close our eyes, if you're comfortable doing so, taking in a deep breath and relaxing into this moment. Allowing ourselves to go within, to contact the Spirit, that Holy Spirit of God. In this moment, what I recognize to be the truth of life is that it is unconditional. There is no condition that constrains it or keeps it within boundaries. And this ultimate truth of that Spirit is the ultimate truth of ourselves as well. As we contact this inner knowing, and as we open ourselves up to the wisdom that flows from that inner light, we allow ourselves to be carried by grace, to be carried by love, to be carried by beauty and power. In this new beginning, I allow myself to set aside anything that has come before that has limited myself, limited my expression, limited my life. As I allow that inspiration to flow in through me, I allow it to flow out into the world, bringing that unconditioned love, that unconditioned beauty and joy into the lives of everyone I come into contact today. In deep gratitude for our time together, in love, in beauty, and in life, I open myself to the wisdom being shared in the music and in the message. I allow the wisdom of Dr. Maxine to flow freely into my life with a new point of view, a new perspective, a new beginning in the next step of my life. Being mindful that what is mine to do is to constantly contact that spirit within me and to bring it forward into my life, into everything that I think, say, and do. Unconditioned opulence, unconditioned affluence, unconditioned love. This is my life. This is our life. It can be no other way, and I allow that life to flow cleanly, clearly through me, as me. In deep gratitude, I release my word into the law, into the ever-present law of mind, knowing that it knows what to do and how to do it to accomplish a perfect demonstration. And I allow that perfect demonstration to unfold through me, as me. And in deep gratitude again, I release, I let go, and I allow myself to be so. And so it is.
And now will you kindly speak with me, if you choose to, our affirmation for the day. I live powerfully in this dynamic moment of new creation, releasing what has been and opening to what is now possible. Isn't it wonderful that we can have a practitioner be with us from Florida? Isn't it wonderful that we're really getting, we are global. I love that. And I noticed that my daughter, who's in Boca Raton, Florida, has tuned in and said good morning to everyone. Typically, my granddaughter, Stephanie, tunes in too. But she and her fiance, by the way, they're getting married on October 15th, and we'll be there. That she and her fiance decided they needed to go to Poland for the wedding of one of his best friends. I mean, you may as well have a lot of activity going on just before your big wedding, right? Just as people said to Reverend Mike and me when we took off for almost a week, there they go, those crazy kids. Well, we like being crazy kids, and we expect you to be the same. So now we're going to talk about a whole new world, because we've begun a whole new month today. We still have the same annual theme, which we have borrowed and employed from Centers for Spiritual Living, which is Timeless Wisdom, Evolutionary Vision. And our Greater Philadelphia Center for Spiritual Living September theme is Reawaken and Renew. I like that. I like it so much. Actually, I create, well, anyway. And today's talk is a whole new year. And of course, we borrow that from our Jewish friends. Can we have some light, please? Thank you. Because this is, tomorrow night begins Rosh Hashanah. And so a quote I'd like to say, there you are. Hi. A quote I would like to share with you is actually from a Rosh Hashanah greeting card. I send a lot of them. We have some Jewish friends who appreciate them. And this one simply says, "May the new year be filled with health and happiness, sweet moments for you and your family." Isn't that a lovely greeting? This is a new year. We are beginning a new semester, whether we're kids or whether we are adults. We're always learning and growing and becoming more of who we always have been, aren't we? So Rosh Hashanah literally means head of the year, right at the beginning. And it's the metaphysical beginning of fresh opportunities for us. We can learn a lot and walk along with our good Jewish friends in a consciousness of newness and recreation, because it's a celebration for them of the creation of the world. And so aren't we in the process of recreating, co-creating our world individually and together? Yes, we are. So it's appropriate for us to move into this sense of newness, and that includes releasing the past. It includes a lot of forgiveness. And it includes being aware of the infinite potentiality that each of us has as creative centers, individualized expressions of the consciousness of the divine. So we're also celebrating Labor Day weekend, moving from those 12-hour days. Can you imagine how it was then? Well, let's imagine it just long enough to thank God that that's not happening in our lives now, at least not as much as it was in our country. And 7 days a week, you know, and we've moved to 8 hours a day or more if people choose that. Have you ever been so in love with your work that you didn't want to stop doing it? I know what that feels like. Many of you know what that feels like. But let it be our choice, not a dictate, you know. Let it be because it's fair and it's just and it's wonderful and we love what we're doing and we don't want to stop. But there is something, a lot, in fact, that needed to change in human consciousness. If you haven't noticed, there's still a lot that needs to be changed in human consciousness. And you and I are the way showers in many ways, but we're not the only ones. I don't want this to feel like this great responsibility. I want us to remember that we are some of millions, not just hundreds, not just thousands, but millions of light workers. We all bring our light. We've got to keep that lamp shining brightly. We cannot allow ourselves to fall into darkness and despair because of conditions that seem like they can't be solved. They can, but we can't do it with our ego human mind. We can do it by working together and by diving deeply into that well of spirit that is the truth of our being, that is our reality, our divine, eternal reality, where we find that our most important work is in this realm of pure potentiality. That's where we need to discipline ourselves to move out of the ain't it awful into yes, it's possible. Because this realm of infinite potentiality is where we are able, working with each other and allowing the presence of the divine moving through us to do the changes, to make the changes that need to be made, to bring us to a greater place of fairness and justice and wholeness, of oneness, so that the divisiveness finally melts away and we are unified in consciousness, so that the illness dissolves and the unimpeachable wholeness of the universe comes forth in each of us, in every nation, in every corner of the world. And we love our Jewish friends' concept of tikkun olam, which means repair the world. This is something that's been with them for centuries, always knowing that we are here not to be in charge of the world, the plants, the animals, but to work together with, to make a difference. I mean, we were given a beautiful planet, and there have been some really bad decisions made. And it's time for us to rise up. It's way past time for us to rise up in consciousness. I know that everyone here and everyone listening is doing and has been doing our part to make this a holy ground on which we walk. And we can, but we can only do it when we realize that, oh no, it's not too late. That, oh, we do have an infinite potential within us because we are all the individualized expressions of the living God. And as we remind ourselves and remind each other, we come into that place of, yes, we can, tikkun olam. Yes, we can repair it, but it's not a matter of getting out there, although sometimes it is, and cleaning things up. But the more important part is to work in consciousness, in positivity, in a sense of, yes, it's possible, working together with all of the light workers that are dispelling the darkness. You know that when you walk into a dark room, you don't have to be angry at the darkness, do you? You don't have to go, oh, I wonder what I'm going to do about this. If you remember where the light switch is, and isn't that the important thing, then you simply flip it on. And that's what we are all in the process of doing, is turning the light on again, starting with turning it on within ourselves, not allowing ourselves to move into any kind of discouragement or despair. It's easy to move into discouragement and despair, isn't it? So that means turn it off. Turn that dial off, whether it's the television or the news on your phone. Yes, we want to be informed. Of course we do. We need to be aware of the conditions, because do you know that every condition that you see blatantly blasted upon our news is what? It is a call for prayer. When we see that, we must not allow ourselves to be pulled down. When we see those things, we say, thank God, I can shed my light along with so many others who are doing that, to speak my truth in the midst of the chaos, the storm, the challenge of fairness and justice, the hate that we see. Yes, it's happening out there, and yet this too shall pass. And sometimes it's like, how long is it going to take, right? And I understand that. It's too easy to slip into how long this has been going on. We must remember that it's all bubbling up. It's what Catherine Pondard called chemicalization, where the more truth we become aware of, the more the stuff bubbles up that needs to be transformed. And it isn't pretty sometimes. And it can be scary sometimes. And we must not allow ourselves to be pulled down by it. That's why the discipline of delight is very important. And it was a book that was written many years ago. His name was either Arnold Michael or Michael Arnold. I don't know why people have two names that could be reversed, first or last. But whatever it is, it's a very small book, and it's about the discipline of delight. And of course, we know that discipline, which also comes from the same root as disciple, discipline is loving yourself enough to do what is good for you. That's what it is. It's remembering to think up instead of down, to look up instead of keeping our mind down there where things aren't looking so pretty. And so this discipline of delight, it reminds us that it is not only appropriate, but it is absolutely essential to allow ourselves to move into joy. Because moving into joy changes the atmosphere instantly in the room, whether we're by ourselves with our loved ones or in a grocery store, that we walk in with this sense of joy, which is also part of infinite possibility. Because isn't joy one of the names of God? Life, love, light, peace, power, beauty, and joy. Joy to the world. And so we want to enter into that consciousness of delight and know that everything is possible, that this Tikkun Olam, repairing the world, is something we're doing together by experiencing individually and together our better angels. Let's become aware that each of us has within us that better angel. And why is it? Why is it, remember, that angels can fly? Because they take themselves lightly. They take themselves lightly. And we can fly into a new realm of love and wisdom and fairness and delight by doing what we're doing and taking that quite seriously, without taking ourselves seriously while we're doing it. We each have something to do every moment of every day. And don't we awaken in the morning asking Spirit, what is mine to do? Show me the way. What is mine to do today? And then following that. It's so simple. It's so profound. It's not like, oh, I have to make everything better in this world. No, what is mine to do today? What is my next step right now? How can I make a difference in caring for this planet? How can I make a difference, perhaps simply by listening to others with my heart open? Even if we have such diverse views on things that nobody else could think we could ever even have a conversation. You can, but a conversation includes a very important thing called listening. Otherwise, it's a monologue. Don't you love it when people talk at you? I don't either. I want a dialogue, and that most important part, I believe, of the dialogue is opening my heart and listening. I want your point of view. I may never agree with it, but I want to know why you feel that way. I want to hold you in love and respect, right? And so this is a very important thing. As I'm looking to see what is my part in healing the planet, I also want to know what is my part in healing relationships, especially when the opinions seem so diverse. I don't want to stand there like this. I want to open my heart and listen. I'm not going to lose anything except perhaps some preconceived ideas. I might get to understand your point of view. I might even begin to agree with some of it. I don't know. But I do want to respect it, right? When we listen to each other with our hearts open and our minds open, without deciding ahead of time this is the way it is, then we can actually make progress. And it's essential. Isn't it essential that we do this? We bring greater respect to each other and to the world. Possibilities are endless. They're beyond anything we can even conceive of right now. And yet it's essential that we move up to a higher perspective in order to begin to implement these new possibilities. Let's not give power to the conditions. There are a lot of conditions going on in the world. There are a lot of displaced people. There's a lot of fear. There's a lot of what's going to happen in this government or another government. There is so much fear, and we cannot afford to let that fear grab us. You see, we want to maintain our dreams. Our dreams are not just airy-fairy. Our dreams are divine ideas that are given to us by God to implement. But we need to move out of the fears in order to begin to realize our dreams. Our dreams will come true when we abandon our fears. Or as J. Scott Neal says, your dreams will come true when you do. You and I must come true to remembering who we are and whose we are. And that this is eternally true. That the divine mind and heart of God created each of us so intelligently, so lovingly, so beautifully, so uniquely, that you're required. There's not anyone else on this planet who can do and be and express the life of God the way you can. Many years ago, when in Palo Alto, California, when I was getting to know the policemen in our police department there so that I could bring in the possibility of a chaplaincy program, I was doing all kinds of things just to get to know them, including taking fingerprints. And sometimes teachers would come in. They need to have their fingerprints taken each year. And I remember one year a woman came in with her twins. And the twins were very curious. And they said, our fingerprints will be just exactly alike, won't they? And I said, no, they won't. Let me show you. Everyone is completely unique, and yet, at the same time, everyone is created of the divine presence of God itself. But isn't it wonderful to realize that not only we, but everyone we become aware of, whether we're agreeing with their politics or their policies or their religion or not, everyone came from the same source. And everyone has something unique to contribute to the world. Wow. That is a fabulous awareness. It brings us into a place of letting this whole new world begin to emerge, beginning with us. But as I said, no one is asking us to do this alone. Wouldn't be possible. The ego can take us only so far. The individual can do only so much before we realize that we are not individual, we are not separate, we are not apart. We are individualized expressions of the one life. And therefore we're all together. We're in this all together, going through it, growing through it, becoming more and more aware every instant of the infinite possibilities that exist. We have to understand that it is God's power. You know, the Sistine Chapel, don't you love the Sistine Chapel? I haven't been there, but I will one day. Michelangelo's fabulous ceiling, where you see Adam reaching up and God reaching. You know, every time we reach for the truth, every time we open ourselves to the divine, Spirit says, yes, here we are. I am that I am. And it doesn't take much for us simply to say, remind me who I am. You know? I am here. And God says, I am here. And I am thee, and thou art me, and we are one. We continue to come back to that realization. Ernest Holmes was so clear about this. And he said, we must consciously know that we can use creative power. The more complete such acceptance on our part, the more completely we shall be able to use this power for definite purposes. Not only must we, but we can. Let's remember that it is possible that you and I are possibilitarians. Are you a possibilitarian? Will you say with me, I am a possibilitarian? Oh, I heard that from all over the country. And maybe one or two in Canada. Thank you. I'm a possibilitarian. That in itself, speaking such truth, at times that we might begin to slip into the condition and the concern about it. Speaking a truth like I'm a possibilitarian instantly opens our hearts and opens our minds, doesn't it? Lifts us to a different place. I love what Cornel West said. And I recently came upon the rest of that statement. You've all heard that justice is what love looks like in public. Indeed, that's true. And he went on to say, just as tenderness is what love looks like in private. Justice is what love looks like in public. Justice in the workplace, justice in the home, justice in the community and in the country. And love, tenderness is what love looks like in private. Let's be more tender with our people. Let's be more open-hearted. Let's overlook a few things. Let's not get too much into, well, how come you are that way? And remember how each person really is and who each person really is. And develop a deeper sense of respect and tenderness for each other. Don't you think this is how we are in the process of creating a whole new world? Yeah, it is. So I think I've said about enough for now. And so will you say with me, I live in God power. I am co-creating a better world. I bless and release the past. I step into new beginnings now. And so, my beloveds, begins our lesson. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Alrighty then. Oh boy, this is the time of our prosperity celebration, my favorite time. Because I love circulating prosperity. And you have many ways to give, and you have many places to give. I happen to love giving to our own beloved center. It is my closest source of spiritual food. And if that's true for you, then we invite you to give, whether it's online, so many different ways. Look at that. And those of us who love to put our prosperity donations, contributions into the bowls, we can do that right here. And if you do so with cash, why not use the envelope that's right next to the crystal bowls? Because that way you get credit for it. And that's a nice thing to have in January when you are preparing to do your, oh good, that's a great beginning. So here we go. And if you would like to say your celebration affirmation with me, it goes like this. Whoop. I choose to celebrate prosperity. Divine love blesses my gift. It is my acceptance of God as the source of my abundant supply. With joy and gratitude, I share my abundance with this center. In doing so, I am one with the law of circulation. My tithe goes forth to heal, to prosper, and to bless. It returns to me multiplied abundantly, and I am prospered, and so it is.
We are creating a world that works for everyone. Yes, we're amazing, and we've just begun to feel the power and freedom to be who we came here to be. As we discover each other and to celebrate humanity. We are creating a world that works for everyone. Yes, times are changing. It's a love revolution as we are walking together. Love is leading the way through the fields of compassion to a world that works for everyone. To a world that works for everyone. We are walking together. Love is leading the way through the fields of compassion to a world that works for
Good morning. Good morning. It's good to see all of you here this morning. It's also great that everyone's joined us. Live stream from all over the place, Florida, California, Canada. So, my name is Edie Janik. Happy to serve on your board of trustees. With your announcements. So, thank you for joining us. I already took care of that part. And thank you for that lovely, lovely talk. I took away so many things for me to contemplate later. So thank you so much. I'm ready for that new beginning. So now we have Mrs. Jo Lurquin has sponsored this Sunday. Lady Jo, thank you so much. And I'll tell you why she did it. Mr. Lurquin. Mr. Joe Lurquin. His birthday was September 3rd, Friday. So happy birthday, Joe. And thank you. Thank you, Lady Joe. All right, so we have two classes. I need to call up Reverend Mike. Reverend Mike, front and center. Reverend Mike's going to tell you about his class coming up. And then Dr. Maxine will hear from you about your class.
Thank you, Edie. So, this class, Change Your Thinking, Change Your Life, one of the things that it's just a 5-week class. It is an accredited class, and I'm going to be co-teaching it with a very dear friend and colleague of mine, Reverend Doug Craig. So, if you know Reverend Doug and I, when we get together, it's amazing. The main point of the class is for us to take the reasons why we're not experiencing the relationships we want, take the reasons why we're not experiencing the abundance we want in life, take the reasons why we're not realizing the health and the wholeness we want in life, and recognize that many of those reasons are actually excuses. And letting go of those excuses, letting go of those blocks, and stepping forward into really realizing the life we want. All of that in 5 short weeks. It's going to start this coming Saturday, September the 11th, at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. It goes until 3:30 in the afternoon. So it's a 2.5-hour class. You know, you add all that up, it's not a whole lot of time. But the change that you make, if you apply the lessons learned, are going to be amazing. The class is really affordable for most everybody. And one of the things, though, that's you have to plan on doing is allowing yourself to, A, be transparent, really open to yourself. Expect some insights that maybe you weren't aware of. In fact, a lot of them. And being willing to change. Being willing to change. And you will change. So I hope to see you guys. Make sure you sign up by this Thursday night. And by going to our website and clicking on the link to the registration. That's all for me.
We'll hear from Dr. Maxine.
Now from Dr. Maxine on her class.
Thank you. Oh, yeah, that's going to be an exciting class. It's new, and yet it's basically our divine principles that we teach here. And you get credit for a foundational class, so it's got everything going for it, including a wonderful instructor, 2 wonderful instructors. That's going to be great. And then we have a non-accredited class that's a love offering class, and it's called the 4 Agreements. And some of you have taken it, many of you have the book, and many of us do our best to apply them and then forget. Right? Do you ever take things personally? Do you always speak your word impeccably? Do you never make assumptions? Do you always do your best? We're going to revisit these, and it's just a beautiful way on a Tuesday night from 6:30 to 8:30, just 2 hours, 4 weeks, 2 hours, 4 weeks, and sign up. Just go to the website, the same as you will with Reverend Mike's class, and go to the events and to the class page, and that right there will be the your ability to sign up for it and get registered. And we have several people already, and we're ready to have more. It's going to be on Zoom, and we'll send you the link. We'll send you everything you need, the workbook and so forth. So we've got 2 exciting classes, and what's also pretty cool is you don't have to decide which one to take. You can take them both. Somebody I live with says, more is better. She does too? Okay, good. So that's wonderful. We're looking forward to you being with us. There's something wonderful. I've come to love Zoom. Have you come to love Zoom? Maybe not all of you who have to use it every day at work, but it's a wonderful way to connect. It's Hollywood Squares, only better. Thank you, Edie.
Those both sound great. All right, so thank you. I'm glad Linda asked me to have you guys speak about them because that was very powerful. Great teachers, so supportive. So working through those blocks, remembering the 4 agreements, couldn't be with better people guiding us through those lessons. So look forward to them. I get to talk about 3 additional events. So these aren't classes, but these are events, fun events. We have our annual membership meeting coming up on Sunday, September 19th. It'll be right after our Sunday celebration. This meeting is open to members and regular attendees, whether you plan on joining us in person or watching via Zoom. So we will have Zoom going as well. You'll need to register, so this is the important part. You'll need to register by going to Sunday. This is not right. You'll need to register by going to the calendar. Yes, it is right. And hitting on the event on Sunday, September 19th. Once you access the event through the calendar, you'll be able to register. For those who are here and would like to register now, please see Linda after today's celebration. We're also having our outdoor picnic at East Goshen Township Park on Sunday, September 26th. Monet Farrington, who has done a fabulous job with this event in the past, so it's guaranteed to be wonderful, is our picnic organizer. So I remember a few picnics past I remember Henrik. I remember we have the baby pool. We've got games. We've got amazing food. Oh my goodness, Mrs. I don't mean to. I'm sure someone's going to get upset that I didn't mention their deviled eggs or something. Lady Jo makes great deviled eggs. Mrs. Zoll baked beans are to live for. And there's a whole bunch of other good food too. So let's see. Put that on your calendar, Sunday, September 26th. And then we have also our first 2021 in-person Bada Bingo night on Saturday night. It's been rescheduled for October 23rd. We'll be here at Suite 16. So remark your calendars for October 23rd. And John Zoll is the caller that night, which makes it extra, extra fun. He's so funny. So yep, you can sign up for those events on our calendar. Hit the register link. Let's see, our bookstore is open. We've got mugs left. My favorite mug. And let's see, we have spiritual books. We have inspirational gifts. And you thought I was going to forget, didn't you, Linda? The September Science of Mind magazine is in, and now is the time to grab it because it's the beginning of September. Sometimes I buy my Science of Mind magazine in the middle of the month. And then I got to catch up with all my daily readings and my affirmations, which are wonderful, but it's nice to be current. So they're available now, and now is the time to get one. And let's see, if you're watching us, if you're watching from home, and enjoying our Sunday celebrations and our love notes on our Facebook and YouTube channel, please be sure to like, to subscribe, and to share with others. When you subscribe, you'll receive notices when our Sunday celebration and our daily love notes are uploaded, and I have to say I love the on-the-road love notes. Fabulous. Even if you're not out of town, just go somewhere and do it. I mean, your home is lovely also, but it's just nice to see you out and about. It's kind of fun. Okay. Yeah, there we go. All right. So our celebrations begin at 10:30 a.m. We're also holding a meditation session at 10 a.m. in our meditation room. And we continue to provide a safe environment, and we will be following all CDC and local guidelines at this time. We are requiring masks. For those who join in person, we ask that you be considerate of those who are wearing red or yellow name badges that help to convey our comfort level with being together physically, social. So keeping safe distance. We'll continue to live stream for all those who choose to watch from the comfort of your homes. And we're happy you joined us. So glad to see you all. Thank you for joining us out there in live stream land. And thank you, Jeff, for all of your support. All right, so I think that's everything I have. I think I'm done.
Edie, you will never be done. Thank you. Great job.
Oh,
We have a lot going on. You know that? I think it's awesome. I really do. And today is the first Sunday of the month. And what is that? Birthday Sunday. So all of you, whether you're here or whether you're out there in virtual land, if September is your birthday month, will you kindly stand so that we can acknowledge you? September babies, yay! Now we're going to hit it, Maestro. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear birthday. Happy birthday to you. That's it? Okay. Wonderful. Okay, that's it. Thank you. You're going to have wonderful birthdays. Some of you already have. Oh, Reverend Mike. Oh. Don't you want to join me up here? We do. But you can just wait and I'll remember. All right, yes. We do have a closing song. Let's hear our closing song, and then we will complete our wonderful time together for now.
Every step that I make, I infinitely co-create. Every breath that I take feeds my soul, and I'm awake to the love and the power, to the love like no other, to the love so divine in my head, my heart, my mind, to the love. Every face that I see, I know God and them and me. Every prayer lives in peace, offering a sweet release to the love and the power, to the love like no other, to the love so divine in my head, my heart, my mind. Where those doors were closed, all are open. Where those left behind, all are welcome. Come on in, open your mind to the love and the power, to the love like no other, to the love so divine in my head, my heart, my mind. Just swear. the love like no other, to the love so divine. In my head, my heart, my mind. In my head, my heart, my mind. In my head, my heart, my mind. To the love.
Gary Lynn Floyd and Jamie Lula and the Agape Band. Now, I want you to continue to keep in mind having our house musicians back up here again. It will happen. Keep it in our mind, in our consciousness. We're doing this. All right, so thank you all for being here. It's been really precious, always precious to be with you. So, loving presence, how great it is as we go forward, knowing who we are and whose we are, to bring joy and possibility to this world. We are the bright lights, adding our lights to all others, and we are shining constantly. For this and much more we give thanks, and so it is.